Good evening, everyone. Okay, hope you're doing great, and I'm so sorry for the delay. So we just had some technical issues out here. So let's just quickly recap of what we've done yesterday, the day before yesterday. So we have tried to learn about the color replacement tool, and then we have worked with the mixer brush tool, wherein we have tried to paint around a woman the other day. We just tried to see how this brush works. Of course, it is a digital brush, but then it acted more like a normal regular paintbrush. And then we have tried to understand the uses of the gradient tool. So gradient tool is basically used to create some canvas from the scratch. So and then we have started with the paint bucket tool. Okay, so today's session, this is what we are going to learn. We will just extend. So in the day before yesterday class, we have just forgot to deliver one more option. So we'll just quickly understand what it is, and then we'll try to understand the uses of text tool, and then we'll jump to the pen tool. Now let's go back to the Photoshop. Here it is. So I've just told you that we'll go back to that particular tool and then understand. I'm going here to my gradient tool, right clicking here, I'm going to my paint bucket tool. So I'm just clicking Control N for a new document. Just saying example. Just saying okay. So I have it here. This is just to show you an example. In the day before yesterday's class, we forgot to learn about one more option. So we'll cover that today. For an instance, so this is already selected. I'm just trying to put it out. I'm just trying to zoom in again. So this paint bucket tool will erase the background of the particular color that I have selected. So now I'm trying to do this. I've selected this. So my foreground color is green. So whatever my foreground color is set to, and wherever I click on a particular image, that particular thing will be changed. So my tolerance is set to 100%. So my font features is also there. I'm just trying to fill this up. Just because I've set it to 100%, my entire red has been changed. If this was unchecked, and if I try to do it again, see, my both red colors have been changed to this particular green color, which is selected as the foreground color. This is because my paint bucket tool will erase the color whichever I have selected. Now we have learned about this contiguous option in a lot of classes, but now let us take an opportunity to discuss more about this particular option. So I'm just trying to move this aside. I'm just trying to check the contiguous option again, rechecking this option so that we can go back to the way that it used to work. So in addition to painting with the colors, paint bucket tool also paints in patterns. So I'm sure you remember about the patterns when we are trying to learn about the clone tool. So here are the patterns that we have in the options on the top. This is only applicable and available for the paint tool bucket. So I'm going to this particular option, and then I'm just trying to see. So it is giving me two options. One is foreground and one is pattern. Wherein foreground means to replace the particular color with another color, which is selected in the foreground out here. And pattern means replace a particular color with the pattern. Okay, when I select the pattern here, one of the options right beside my pattern is like getting visible. Previously, it was not visible. It was not enabled when I selected the foreground, and when I select the pattern, so this particular option is like visible to me. Now this activates the thumbnail out here. So I'll just try to pull in some patterns. So these are the available patterns for me. So if you don't like these patterns, you can also click here and then try to reload some patterns here. Before that, let's try to see how it works. So when I'm trying to select this pattern, tie-dye, and then I'm just painting here. Okay, so this my thing is not set to contiguous. Hence, I have seen that in both my colors have been changed. So now, when I click here, only this particular color gets changed to the pattern that I have selected because my option contiguous is checked in. What if I want to put another pattern to this pink color? So it's there. What if I want to put another pattern to my green color out here? I've got this pattern. So one at a time, one at a time. So if you want to put some patterns also, it is available. So if you have some custom made patterns in your desktop, you can upload them as well. And if you want to get more patterns, just click the option out here. Just click the small arrow button out here. And if you can add a new pattern like how we did for the clone stand. We have selected a part of the beard of a person and then we have put it as a new pattern, right? You can also do that. Or if you want to put up some more patterns out here, you can do it from the options out here. So my nature pattern is already set. Probably let's go to this color paper and then it is asking me to append. I'll say append. So all my color papers are appended here in the pattern section. You can use them as well. See, this is how it works. And what if I want to put up more options? I can again click here. I can go to artist surfaces or probably a grayscale paper and I'll say append. I have only one option appended here, one pattern appended. I will go back here again and then I'll just say rock patterns and again I'll say append. So all my rock patterns are available here. So what if I want to append something? All that I'll have to do is click on a particular pattern that you would like to and then click on a particular color that you want to replace. So my pattern is available here. So this way you can create your background image with either colors or delete the colors or put up more patterns. So you can actually see that paint bucket tool isn't like very precise, but it is very easy to use and it will get the job done very easily. If you want a simple background, all that you will have to do is like put up a new surface and then select one pattern, just brush it there and then just try to work on it. Or if you want a simple colored background, just go to gradient tool pack, put up the color that you want to in the white selected area and then start working on it. So this is it about gradient tool and paint bucket tool. So now we will go back to the text tool in the options. So this text tool is the next creation tool that we will discuss, and this is absolutely essential in graphic design. Any design that you want to make, that is like really not possible without appending a text here, right? Text in that particular canvas. So I'm just going to this tools option, right clicking and then selecting the horizontal type tool. So this type tool, it is used in Photoshop to add text of any kind. The name itself tells you, right? The text tool. So with this tool, you can actually add some text to your canvas. So I will now show you the basics of this type tool so that you can start using this tool to append words, text to your document. So first we'll clean up this canvas. So for that, probably I'll just put up a neat white layout. For that, all that I have to do is go to edit. If you remember, you will have to click on fill. I will want to select this to white, use as white, and then say OK. You can either do this or directly click on Shift F5. Shift F5 is the shortcut for fill. So now my canvas is painted with white, and this is a background that I want to work on. So it is locked. I don't have any problem with it. Now, this particular layer means this is actually filled with white. Now I'll just click on this type tool again and then I'll just try to write something, probably tutorial. So see how it is appearing. So my color depends on the color that is here. So I can select any color, probably I can select it to black, and this is here, or I can also select my foreground color. So anything is like possible. Either I can go to my foreground color and then select, or I have an option on the top here, right here, wherein you can select the color of your text. So this is how it works. Basically, this is how you write the text. If you want to decrease the size, you can just decrease it. If you want to increase the size, you will have a double arrow here. You have 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, and 2 in the sides boxes. That will help you to drag your box. So you can drag it out. So you have this word here for you. So now, the main and important thing to remember is Photoshop has like many keyboard shortcuts, right? For deselecting something, we say Control D. For creating a new layer, we say Control J. And then to fill your canvas with some other color, you say Shift F5. So you have a lot of shortcuts in your keyboard, right? So you will have to commit to the text before itself. So now that you have written your text, so you will have to save this text. You will have to commit this text. Commit in the sense you will have to tell Photoshop that this is your text. Now because you use you use your keyboard for typing the text as well as typing the shortcuts, right? It is used in either way. So now you will have to commit to this text and then tell Photoshop that this is the text that you have written and you want to commit to it. For that, go top here, you will have this check box out here. So just click on it. By clicking on that particular checkbox, you are saying Photoshop that you have committed to this particular word. So now you can use any of the Photoshop shortcuts. For an example, now I can say Control D, which deselects. So I don't have any problem in using the keyboard shortcuts right now. So just because I have set a Photoshop that I want to use this particular, I'm committed to this particular word. Now this is done. So if you're not happy with this word, you can go and then just deselect it. If you're happy, then you can check it out. Check mark it. Now this is all about the tool. Now let's just get on to the options out here. So the first option that I've got is the font type. So I have many fonts that Photoshop gives me by default. You can select any of the font possible, or you can just scroll down and then see what particular font will suit your requirement best. For an example, if you are creating something for a professional company, always use some professional fonts like Calibri, Times New Roman, Arial fonts, etc. If you are designing something for an agency, let's say, or if you are designing something for kids, it is always it is always recommended, or the market follows some Comic Sans, something which are like very stylish in nature, which has got italics and all. So based on the requirement, you can change this font type. Now you can also choose the font color from the font type from the web as well. You have a short plugin for Photoshop to install the fonts. You can do that, but that's really not necessary because you have a lot of fonts out here, so you can use one from them. Or if you know the font by yourself, then you can just directly type in something. Let's say I want to say Times New Roman, so it also gives me a suggestion out here. I've just typed time, so it is already giving me a suggestion that do you want to select the Times New Roman? I'll just say yes, and this particular thing will be changed to Times New Roman. Here it is. You can do this as well if you know the font name. Next option that we have out here is the style. What style you want your text to be, whether it is like a regular style, or if you want it to be italic, or if you want it to be bold, or if you want it to be bold italic. For that, for something to get appended, you will have to select the complete text with Control A. Control A being a shortcut to select the complete area. Control A. Then I'm saying italic. So my font has now changed to italic. Again, I'm selecting Control A. Then I'm saying bold. So my font has been changed to bold. Now I'm selecting everything. I can either use my mouse or I can say Control A. Then I'm selecting bold italic. So my font is bold as well as italic right now. Give me a second. So this is the second option I have for this particular tool. And the third option is the font size. You can define your custom font size. You have till 72. You can again say, so first of all, I would like to go with the regular one. And now for font size, I'll say it's 36 right now. I'll say 48. My font size is now increased. 60. It's Control A. 60. It got increased again. I'll just go back and then decrease this to 36 again. So this is used to select your fonts. Now this AA is anti-aliasing. This is generally applied to pixel-based objects to make it look smoother. So I can actually choose if my particular text, I want it to be either sharp or either crisp or either strong or either smooth. So when you're doing something like when you're trying to play around with the fonts, or if you're trying to make a canvas which is only text specific, you can play with these options. You can actually try and see how these works. See, there's a change here. Just try to observe the screen. When I'm just selecting everything, and when I'm just saying crisp, just see how the font changes. So when you're trying to work around on a canvas or some creative that is purely related to text, if you want to focus on text, if you want to give different styles to the text, try to play around with these aliases. So it completely depends on what type of canvas you're working on and to whom you're working for. If it is a professional, it could be a professional one, it could be a a regular agency one. Based on that, you can actually select this. So whenever I write a text on my particular canvas, it will be immediately treated as a new layer. If you see here, it is immediately treated as a new layer. Now, the next option I have is the adjustments, which is called paragraph adjustments. For an example, I will write something out here, tutorial. I'm just saying, I'll select the tool again. I'll say tutorial. I'll just try to move this down. Just because my box size was very little, I was not able to see what I was typing. So I'm just saying enter. Enter will help me go to the next line. I'll say tutorial on text 2. So this is what I've typed. Now this particular paragraph styling will help me adjust the font style, font layout, whether I want it to be completely left, or I want to be center aligned, or I want to be right aligned. For now, this is by default left aligned. So when I just say, I select everything, and then when I just say and go to this particular center text option, So my text is automatically aligned to center. This actually looks good when you're working on a canvas wherein the text is on the middle. Okay, so for an example, I'll just again go to this particular right align text option and see my text is now aligned to complete right. So this is my canvas box out here. So in this particular box, I'm trying to play around with the styling. So when by default, Photoshop gives me left aligned text. So this is good when I have my image on the right and then my text is on the left. This is perfect. So middle aligned is like good for some canvas wherein the text is like middle aligned. And this is for something wherein your image is on the left side and you can put your text on the complete right side. It doesn't basically disturb the whole view of the image. So this is how it works. Again, we'll go back to the left alignment. Now, this tool, as we have discussed, this is used to select the color of your particular text. So if you want to change it to anything, you can go here, try to select something and then change the color of it. I'll again have to select everything and then I'll have to do. So this is how I can pick some color and then change the color of this particular text. Now, the next tool out here is a very interesting option for this particular tool. So I will select this completely. See, I have an option wherein I can style my text for this particular. Just a second. I'm just trying to select everything for a better view. Just trying to decrease this. Just selecting this move tool. Then I'm just trying to move this a bit up. I'll again go back to the text tool out here, horizontal type tool. I'm pressing here. This will enable me all the options that I have for this tool. I'm selecting here, and then I have I don't have an exhaustive list, but I have few options wherein I can style my text. So when I say arc, so this is how my text looks like. So I can really play around. I can give lot of effects to my text. Let's say I say arc lower, so it gives me an arc on the lower side. I say arc upper, it gives the arc on the upper side. The particular text is like tilted, right? Now I'll give an arch. This is how it looks. I'll give it a bulge look. Probably if you're working on something which is related to excess fat or weight loss or weight gain ads, you can use this tool. Options, right? So this is here. You also have a flag one. Probably you can use this for Independence Day and Republic Days. This is a wave. So this is basically a fish. Inflate, squeeze, and twist. You also have your options to blend. If you want to blend two texts, you also have an options to blend here. The horizontal distortion. How do you want to tilt your text? This is vertical distortion. You can tilt it the way possible, whichever suits best to your canvas. So whenever possible, just try to work on these options. So just take up take up probably a colorful background, put up a gradient there, and then just try to put up a layer and then try to add up a text and work out with these options out here for text tilting. And the next option that I have here is a character box and a paragraph box. You can virtually customize everything you like with these options. I have a lot of tools out here. You can work on all the points. So whatever is there here, the more options to it have been placed in this particular box. Whenever you're working on the paragraphs, you can use this. So whenever you're working with the text, regular, single text, you can play around with these options for the, for increasing the font size, colors, text, scalings, everything you have here. You also have the, languages out here. This is the aliasing. Just try to play around with all these options. It is really fun. Just closing this again here. Just trying to delete it again. Yeah. So next is the vertical type tool. So the name itself tells you how it works. I'll say tutorial. See, this particular vertical type tool will allow you to write something in a vertical manner. Even if it is a regular word, it will actually allow you to write it in a vertical manner. So whenever you don't have a place, or whenever you want to fill something beside the image, so if let's say if you have an image here and then you want to write something vertically, you can use this particular tool. You can decrease the size of it, and then you can write it down. So you also have the options out here on how it should be, like it should be on top of, or in between, or in the bottom. So you can play around with this. So try to put up a small image and then try to write probably on x-axis and y-axis. Right, whenever you're trying to write something, you can use this particular option. Just trying to go back to 36 again. So the options out here for this tool are the same as it used to be for the regular text horizontal tool. Now horizontal type mask tool, it will give you a blurred look to your image. So let's say I've put my point here, so it will start writing from there. I'll say tutorial. So it gives you a small background color. Let me go back here. Deselected it. So I'm just saying okay out here. See, I've written something and then I've just committed to that text that I want to use this, and this is how it works. It gives you a shaded effect, or rather I would say a dotted effect to your particular text, which is written horizontally. So this vertical type mask, so this is basically like a mask of your particular text, right? So this is pure text and this is masking your text. So vertical type mask tool is nothing but your something will be written in a vertical manner. So I'll say HELLO, so it is written in a vertical way. So I'll just commit to this text, and this is how it looks. So it is masked in a vertical way, whereas my previous text was masked in a horizontal way. So whenever you want to work with such effects, you can always right click on the text tool and then try to play around with this mask tool or a vertical type mask tool. So all the options are again same, like just like the regular text tool. So this is one of the important options in Photoshop. Without text, there is nothing that you can actually create for marketing. Rather, I would say for any other thing. So we'll close this text tool here. The next set of tools that we will try to understand is pen tool. Here it is, right above the text tool and below the dodge tool. this is very unique tool and a lot of attention is required. So we'll just start with the basic today, and then probably in tomorrow's session we'll try to understand more on the practical part. So you really cannot imagine Photoshop without this particular pen tool. So I'm just trying to delete my file here. I'm just saying no because I don't want to save the document. And then I'll just go here. As I've said, it is right above the text tool and right below the dodge tool. I'll just right click here and then I'll just select the pen tool. Okay, so pen tool is basically used to create paths, and these paths can be used to create shapes from scratch or from selection to use in the Photoshop. Basically, using this pen tool, I can make some paths, with these paths, I can, combine all the paths and then I can actually make a selection. So basically, pen tool is one of the complicated tools used to select things in Photoshop, but actually it allows you to make a clean selection, making this tool accurate and useful. So let's now start using this tool with a selection. For that, I'll just try to upload a new image. I can either go to File or I can say Control O. I'll try to select this particular image. I've selected this. I've selected my image. I'll go to pen tool and then I'll just try to make some selection. Let's say I'll just try to click here. Before this, my image, I can probably say Control Plus just to go inside it. So I'll just make a selection here. I've put my dot here. So I've just clicked here. I've used nothing. I've just used my mouse to click on a particular point on my canvas. And then I'll just try to put up one other point here. So a straight line has come here. I'll try to put up another point out here. So another straight connecting line has appeared. And then probably I'll try to put up another point here. So now I would like to close. So I've made a path. So I've clicked here and then I've selected. Then I've just made a path. I have selected here. So this is a path. So this straight line is a path. And here to here, again, this straight line is a path. And here to here, again, this straight line is a path for me. Now I just want to close this particular path. So I'll again go back here. Here my first point. And if you see, observe the cursor very carefully. Whenever I'm just going to the, to the point that I've initially clicked on, or cursor is showing an O symbol, right? So that means I'm just I'm very closer to a point wherein I can close this particular path. I'm clicking here. So now my path is complete. So now this is the most basic way that I can use the pen tool. So all that we have done is selected and closed a path, right? So I've selected and then I've closed the path. It is, if you really observe, this is more like a polygon lasso tool that we have used in our previous classes. We have 3 types of tools, right? In the lassos, one is lasso, one is polygon, and one is magnetic. So this is like similar to this particular tool. By using the basic functionality of this pen tool, looks as if it is similar to the polygon lasso tool. So the path made doesn't appear in the layers. If you see, when I see here, so I've made a path. So this particular path should appear in this layer, right? So though I'm using my background, even if I don't use the background, even if I put up another layer and then I try to select it out, I don't see my selection, my path here. So probably we'll try to understand about this later. I'll help you understand for sure. So basically, path doesn't appear in the layers. Okay. And we'll make this selection useful by clicking inside and say make selection. I've just drawn the path and then I'm just trying to make a selection here. So I've clicked and then I have a small pop-up box appearing here on my screen. So my first option is feather radius. So what is feather? Feather represents the hardness of the path. So if you remember how brush tool operates, lower the hardness will bring you soft, nice blurry brush. So while if you put up some higher hardness, it is quite opposite. So it gives me a very stiff focused brush, right? So feather is basically the reverse of the hardness. Now, if you select low feather, it will result in some harder selection. If you select high feather, it results in very, very, very smooth selection. So we'll demonstrate how neat a pen tool can be. So, we leave this particular feather radius to be 0% right now. I'm just clicking on this. Okay, 0 pixels. So I'm clicking on this. Okay, so see, previously I've just drawn a path. Now it has become a selection for me, right? So pen path is now made into a pixel selection here. Okay, now I want to deselect this and just say Control D. So my selection is gone, right? Path or selection, neither my path nor my selection are appearing in the canvas or in my layer section. So I've drawn a path and then I've right clicked on that particular path. I've selected that particular path, but none of them, and when I've deselected it, they're not appearing on my canvas or on my layers section. So where is it? Never the path will appear in the layer section. Rather, it has a different window altogether that is called as path section. I don't have it here right now. So all that I'll have to do is go to my Windows panel, select on paths. So here is my path. When I click here, I can see this work path. When I click here, the path that I have selected previously is appearing here. Okay, now I can either right click here and then say make selection, or either I can click on this particular path window and then say make selection. Both are one and the same. So I used a pen tool to make a path and converted the path into a selection, right? Here we go. So now this can be also done using polygon lasso tool, or some selection tools, or something else. But what will set apart this particular pen tool is what we are going to learn in the next session. So for today, we are just trying to understand how the basic work functionality of a pen tool, what exactly it is. And probably in tomorrow's session, we'll try to understand how pen tool is different from the lasso tool and the selection tool. And for now, I'm just trying to delete this path. I can either right click and say delete path, or I can drag this particular path to the dustbin icon which is present below. So I have deleted the path right now. So I'll say Control D and also delete the selection. So I don't have any path nor selection, right? Now what I will try to do out here is start a new selection altogether, but I will not leave the cursor right now. So previously I've just clicked here and then I've released the mouse, so it just gave me a small dot icon, right? So I will not leave the selection out here. So I'll just try to click and drag. So I'm trying to click here, then I'm just trying to drag my mouse. If you see here, with the one point in the middle, I also have two more points coming out. I have some additional 2 points extending outwards my original point. These are called as angular points, and these add curves to my points. So these points tell you where to turn your path. The longer your anchor points are, the longer curves you will get. So the shorter the anchor points are, the shorter curve you will get. Let me select one for you. So I've just tilted my points, and then I've just released my mouse, and then I've pointed it somewhere. So it's giving me a curved line. Previously it used to give me a straight line, but right now it's giving me a curved line. Now I'm just trying to point out here, and then I'm just trying to play around with this angle. So see how my line is getting tilted, so it is giving me a curved line. So I'm just trying to hold it out here, and then I'm just trying to put my another point here. Then I'm just trying to put another point here. I can select the both. So just because I have interjoined my points, I've combined the, I'm trying to close my selection. I've combined my points here, so I can move both the lines. So both the lines I can make it curved. So this is how it works. You see, everything is like getting tilted. So now I have made a kind of elliptical, or I can say my lines are not straight, though it looks like a rectangle. So it is basically filled with the curved lines. Now this is how I can play around with the points. So if you click and then drag, you will have this angular points, and then you can try to make some angle and then make the straight line into a curved one. So just hit Control Z. So when you're working with the pen tool, the two keyboard shortcuts, or probably the two keyboard keys that you will have to keep in your mind is, one is Alt key and then another one is Control key. Remember, one is Alt key and another one is a Control key. So I'm just again deselecting everything. So I have my path here. So this is my path. I can again say right click. I can say delete path. So my path is now deleted. I can I'll try to select again. So whatever I've shown you was just basic selection. So I have this picture wherein a woman with a hat, or probably a man, I don't know, with a hat is like trying to relax in a nice beach scenario. So now I want to isolate this woman from this particular background. Okay, so I want to isolate this particular woman from this background. For this, I can use the tools that we have previously learned. I can either use a lasso tool, a polygon lasso tool. I cannot use, but I can use a elliptical lasso tool. I can use a quick selection tool, or probably I can use a background eraser tool. But I don't want to use any of these options, but I would like to work with some pen tool. Okay, so how will I do that? For this, we'll actually learn about this tomorrow, but I'll now help you understand how to zoom in an image. So whenever you're working on any of the selection tools to make your image look more perfect, you will always have to zoom in and then try to work around. So for that, you can either say Control plus, which will help you to zoom in. Control minus will help you to zoom out. Or if you are not comfortable using the keyboard shortcut, you also have a direct tool in your toolbar, which is here. This is called as zoom tool. So I'm just clicking on the zoom tool. So in the below here, it says my percentage is 66.67. It means my size of the image right now is 66.67. So I'm just clicking. So I've just selected the zoom tool, and then I'm clicking on my image or canvas. So it is now zoomed to 100%. So if you would like to zoom in more, you can click here, or you can actually click on Control plus, whichever you're comfortable with. So this will help you to let's say if you want to cut her hat. So the more you zoom in, the more accurate you can actually cut the hat of hers. So this is how the zoom tool is like really helpful. So in tomorrow's session, we'll try to understand how to use this pen tool and isolate this particular woman from this background. If you have any doubts in today's session, you can put it forward. Else we can close this and we can actually connect back tomorrow. Okay, I'll just give you a quick overview of what we have done today. So we have just tried to understand the brush tool option, sorry, the gradient tool option, which is paint bucket tool. Then we have just worked with the different patterns. We have then moved to the text tool. We have tried to understand how it works, the different options of text tool, the horizontal type, vertical type, horizontal mask, and then vertical mask. And then we have just started with the pen tool, and then we have just understood how to use it in a very basic manner and importance of it. So in tomorrow's session, we'll just continue with this. And thanks for your time, guys. Bye bye.